So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel, back again with another Q&A, taking your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs and answering them. As always, if you have anything to ask, leave it down below in the comment section. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and also thank you so much for the support on these Q&A videos. But let's get into it. Here we go. So the first question of the day from Solomon John says, do you think that we'll get the original staffs, not the copies, in the Great War map on Black Ops 4? And also, how much better will they be compared to the copies we see in Origins? So of course we know the elemental staffs that we see in Origins are replicas of the originals. The originals could never be found. Maxis and Group 935 didn't know of their location. They had been lost over time. We don't know what happened to them. The last time that they were seen was during the Great War in the 1300s. They were used by Primus, of course, but once Primus disappeared, the staffs seem to have disappeared with them. Now, whether Primus took them to wherever they went to next, or maybe Primus buried them or just lost them over time, we don't know. And so since they couldn't be found, Maxis made replicas. These are the ones that we use in Origins. Now, we don't know how close the Origin staffs are to the originals in terms of design, and also we don't know how less powerful they are, but I would assume that the original staffs that Primus used during the Great War were much more powerful than the ones we can get in Origins. I mean, Primus did use the originals to defeat the Apothicons, so they have to be good. And also, since we are going back to the Great War to take down Dr. Monty, I think it's very likely that we could be using the original staffs again. I don't know what other weapon could be powerful enough to stop him, so I definitely do think we'll be able to use the original staffs. And that also kind of leads me to the question, are they gonna give off the same abilities and features that the ones in Origins did? Because personally, I'd like to see them changed up a little bit. I don't really want the same wonder weapons that we used in Origins for a map that should be as epic as the Great War. Personally, I don't want reused wonder weapons, so maybe the elements will be the same, such as fire, wind, ice, but perhaps how these weapons are used will be different. I do hope so. Of course, we've never seen the originals, so we really don't know what they look like. They could be quite a bit different to the ones we saw in Origins, and we don't know exactly how powerful they are yet. The next question of today from Tyler Maxis says, hey BOA, I have a question. Where did the jumping jacks from Die Rise come from, and do they link with the Nova 6 crawlers? Please explain. So if you actually check out my video, the story of the crawlers, I do explain them in there. That goes into much more detail, so I will link it down in the description. But quickly, I do believe the jumping jacks in Die Rise are linked to the Nova 6 crawlers that we see in Kino Der Toten, 5, or even Moon. I mean, we can clearly tell by the way they look, they are pretty much identical to the normal Nova 6 crawler. However, their abilities are a little bit different. It seems like they could be an offspring of the Nova 6. There are the originals that we saw in Kino and 5. There then seems to be a more advanced version in Moon. These crawlers can teleport, and then in Die Rise, there is an even more advanced version, or less advanced, however you want to see it. But these ones are very agile. They're able to jump and bounce around. They are clearly more powerful than the original crawlers, but whether they're more advanced than the teleporting ones that we see on Moon, that's up to you to decide. But what exactly are these? I just believe they are crawlers. And yes, all three versions of them that we see, I think, are linked. They just have slightly different powers. If you're asking where did the crawlers come from, still to this day we've never had a definitive answer. It's never been confirmed. There are theories, we can always take a guess. The first one is they were zombies that were experimented on by Group 935 and then turned into crawlers. Another theory is that these used to be gatekeepers. You can see there are a lot of similarities, especially in the face, the teeth, the hands. The crawlers are obviously a lot smaller and don't float, but it's thought that they could be gatekeepers that were captured by Group 935 and again experimented on. They could be Apothicons, again changed by Group 935. We don't know. Whether this question will be officially answered from Treyarch, I'm not too sure. Whether they'll update the Canorium and mention this, I doubt it, because they didn't do it last time, and it is an age-old question. So I think it's just one of those mysteries in zombies that we're never going to have a confirmed answer to, which I kind of like. Zombies has always been about theories and making it up as we go along. Over the past couple of years, Treyarch have pretty much given the story straight to us, so I like that there's still a little bit of mystery. The next question of the day says, what do the video reels show and mean in Kino Der Toten? Now, if for some reason you don't know what he's on about, if you haven't played Kino, which I highly doubt that, it is one of the most popular maps in Zombies, well, inside of the theatre, there is a projector screen that you can put, I believe, 3 different reels into, and each one will play a short video. You actually find these reels in the different rooms that you teleport to, like Samantha's bedroom, the conference room from 5, the Verrucht room, but you pick these reels up and then you put them into the projector and they play these short 3 or 4 second videos. There's no audio, it's in black and white since this was the 60s, and you can see it shows different things such as zombies. For example, on the first one there is an outline of zombies and then they become clearer and clearer and closer to the screen. We can also see different numbers on here such as 10 and 115, and then on the second reel you can see we have an eye. The eye then changes to have the letter JD inside, and then there are more images such as the Group 935 logo with more numbers. So your question is, what exactly are these reels showing and what does this mean? Well, if we listen to these quotes from Richtofen,
I wonder if we can find any of the training videos anywhere. Those seats, the screen, they wanted to implant the mind with instructions.
we can see he first said, I wonder if we can find any of the training videos anywhere. And he then says, the seats, the screen, they wanted to implant the mind with instructions. Now remember that Richtofen has never been to Kino Der Toten. Maxis kept this facility a secret from him, and the whole point of this place was to create the zombie horde for Nazi Germany. We know that since Group 935 were low on funding, Nazi Germany turned this abandoned theatre into a research station for Group 935 to use, and their main focus here was to create zombies. If we look at other facilities such as Der Toten, the main purpose of that place was to create weapons and teleportation, or Call of the Dead, that was to experiment on people, but Kino's main objective was to create zombies, and so that's exactly what Maxis did. However, he did it behind Richtofen's back, and so as you see, Richtofen says, I wonder if we can find any of the training videos, and then he tells us that the whole purpose of this projector showing these different clips was to implant the minds of zombies with instructions. These videos were to control the zombies, to tell their minds what to do. Of course, the undead, as I said earlier, were being created for Nazi Germany to help them win the war. Zombies you would expect are, well, they are brain dead. Of course, they're going to be stupid, just running around aimlessly, and so in order to get them to follow instructions, in order for Nazi Germany to be able to control them and tell them to, go and attack the enemy, instead of the zombies attacking them, the zombies were made to watch these training videos in order to program their mind. And if we go back and take a look at it, it's pretty interesting. I don't know exactly how these videos would work, what in here is so special that would flick a switch in these zombies' minds. I mean, there are loads of different random numbers and letters on here, and images of eyes and the undead, the Group 935 logo. I believe there's also another reel, I just haven't got it on this video. It took me absolutely ages to get these two already, because you can't choose which room you are teleported to. Unless there is only 2, I can't 100% remember. But yeah, that is your answer. These videos on the projector that we see in Kino were training videos to control the minds of zombies. The next question from Relaxing6N says, what did the Nav Card do in Transit? So the Nav Card was an item that we could get in Transit, Diarized and Buried, and its primary use was to join all 3 of the radio masts together. As we know, in Transit, Diarized and Buried, our main objective was to link pylons in favour of either Richtofen or Maxis. There were 3 pylons in all 3 of these maps, so you would do that and you would pick up the Nav Card, put it into the Nav Card table, and it would link them up. That is the simple answer. I know a lot of people did get confused about this, especially at the time. They were like, what is this even for? Because it's not explained. From memory, I don't believe this had anything to do with the 2 different sides of the Easter eggs, Maxis's or Richtofen. I believe you had to have the Nav Card for both of them, and then the ending of Buried, depending on which side you did all along throughout Transit, Diarized and Buried, would determine which ending you had for either of those two characters. But anyway guys, there we go, that is it, that is all I have for you for today's video. As always, if you have enjoyed, you know what to do, drop a like rating, of course, only if you want to, if not, it's totally fine. But I do want to say thank you so much for the support on the videos. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, leave your questions down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.